Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clueless 8, and I'm going to try to jam a whole bunch of individual stock charts and give a quick flavor of where I think they might be going. First one is one of my favorites. We all know that I trade this stock quite often, Google, and this is Googl. Okay, Google Class A. So let's take a look at Google here. I would ask all of you to refer back to my previous charts to see where I recommended, and you'll clearly see that it was around the 520 level. Stock's at 563.8. Let me just point out some very simple chart reading patterns here. This is a very powerful chart. This is why the NASDAQ is basically going up, despite all the negative BS that we keep on hearing about in the media, about the end of technology and all that good stuff. So here we are, bounced off very hard. Okay, on and this is the weekly chart, obviously, to give you a better perspective. On the week of first week in May, came back, tested the 9, tested the tested 34, and didn't do well. Pulled back, felt terrible, right? From 545 all the way down here, screaming buy. Look at this candle. That's a candle of pure terror for institutional institutional money managers, hedge funds that are short. That's a huge short covering candle, which literally makes or breaks your book. So, don't want to get into too much. That's another day's story. So this was a large green candle. When these type of things happen, supported by internal internal divergences that broke out on the stochastics, McClellan just starting to move up, and halfway there. McClellan doesn't get overbought till about 180, 200. Right now it's at 16.4. Keep in mind this is the weekly chart. It's giving you a slightly bit longer perspective. So here we are. Once we break over the Bollinger, mid-Bollinger F around 566, 568, probably tomorrow's open, it's going to be a free flight zone. This is the free flight zone, okay? It's an exact pattern symmetry. I keep on repeating, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I didn't make it up. Ask Sir Isaac Newton for that, okay? So when this candle is going to get repeated. So I believe Google gets towards about $600. That's about 40 points from here. How quickly can they get there? It can happen this week as we get into the throes of the mindless portfolio dressing, end of the month sprucing of portfolios where fund managers chase performance, put high beta powerful names in there. Could very well happen. So that's Google. What's your downside? Your downside, you have a stop here at around 544. 546 is a weekly stop. Below that, it's back to the lows, back towards the low 500s. So that's the downside for Google. On the weekly charts, I'll give more specific details as I always do for my real-time subscribers who trade these things actively, the weekly options, more clearly tomorrow. Let's take a look at Apple, another perennial favorite. Apple's just a clean breakout. So Apple here, as we can see, we got to draw this line, and I have some beautiful charts on Apple from way below, from down here, and don't want to get into that. Everyone just should take time to look through it. A lot of them are posted here on this site, on Stock Twits, on the free stuff that I put up there. So Apple here, this very large cup handle breakout. Classic. They're going to study this in Harvard one day. So here you got a large cup, multi-year cup. Here's a handle which lasted from December of 2013 all the way to April this year. Earnings. See you later. Okay. So here we are. Apple's up here. Personally, I think Apple's overbought, and my stochastics are kind of pointing towards that. They were back at 101. So I wouldn't be chasing Apple too much here, but then who knows, okay? McClellan is telling us there's room to move higher. So Apple could very well stay overbought for, till towards the end of this week and going into next week. And what's upside do I see on that? The upside on that I would see is basically this upside here. Okay, drawing this peak from back in April 9th of 2012. So we're looking at around 645. There are different measures that kind of reach that level too. So let me show you one here, which kind of coincides with that number. It's amazing how these technicals, how the charting works, right? So we can look at 650 as the upper end of this move. So that's another 36 points from here. Let's take a look at Netflix, another monster that all the gurus love to hate, right? This is a killer. So here's Netflix. Just look at it very simply, okay? Let's keep it simple. KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. So, and that stupid means I'm stupid. Okay, so here we are. We are not overbought yet. We're getting up there, and look how beautiful this chart is. 50-week moving average, bang bang. Huge move last week. Okay, we from 346 to 407. Unbelievable. That's just the way Mexico does it. Well, look what happened here. I believe it's going to take all this back, and I think Netflix is going back to 450. So you got another 48 points from here. Why do I think that? Because I've seen it happen before. I'm not a fundamentalist here, who's going to give you all kinds of crazy stories about Netflix's business, this and that. I mean, they're launched in Germany, in France, and they're probably raking in some serious numbers. So here we are. We are on a short-term basis, I believe 410, probably a minor pullback towards 400, and then I think it goes and touches the upper Bollinger at 475 at one point. What's the time frame? I don't know, maybe in June. Or it at least gets towards the 450 level, round figure. What's your downside? The downside is that if it breaks 344, that's 60 points down here. Or let's call it, if it breaks 366 or 380, 20 points below here, these are the levels to watch out for. That's charting. This is, you'll have this chart there to look at all the time. So measure these levels. These are your downsides. If this line, this 9-week moving average starts to move up, all hell breaks loose. Netflix is going to get to 470 so fast, it's not even funny. So that's it. Very volatile stock, but I think we have money to be made here. Look what happened here, this pattern symmetry, okay? Came down towards the same level. Sorry, came down right here. Similar to where we were, and look what happened. I realize circumstances were a little bit different that time, but that's Netflix. Let's take a look at Facebook. I love this. I think this thing is ready to go gangbusters. Cheap options, buy a bunch of them, and they basically double or triple. So here we are. This move has just started. So let me just draw the price level it needs to break out of. It needs to break out of 62.47. 62.47. This is 55.62. Because 7 points, 7 plus 62 brings it to 70. I've always said this thing is going to about $70. I think it goes first, takes out, I've been saying 64. Here, 64. Okay, look at this pencil, and then touches this channel at about 68. Over 68, it's got free move all the way to 76. Not going to happen that easily. There's going to be a lot of chop in the market, but it's looking good. It needs to break out of this box, and this box is 63 on the upside, or 62.70. On the low side, it's 55. I don't think it gets down there. It's broken the downtrend line here. You can clearly, oops, let me look at the daily for another time. Okay, this is a little bit thing. Let me take all this out. Clean chart, okay? Clean chart. Let me just draw one line. I got there. Simple. It's over the 50-day moving average. I think it gets to 64.25. There's 3 points on the calls. It's a lot of money. So please keep at Facebook on your radar. Thank you.